So, one of the things that I always felt was lacking in, I would say, the last two Predator movies, was honor. Now, in the very first movie, we were kind of sort of introduced to the concept of honor, where basically the Predator was on safari, to use a quote, and because the Predator was on safari, he was hunting worthy game. And the worthy game, or the ones that he chose to be his worthy game, was essentially Dutch and his entire unit. And he essentially hunts Dutch's entire unit until Dutch is the only one left, and he deems Dutch to be a worthy warrior, worth killing, whose skull is worth collecting, and they have their epic one-on-one fight towards the end. Now, in Predator 2, there's a continuation of that, where you see the way that he treats Hardigan, Danny Glover's character, is completely different from the way in which he treats the scientists inside of the meat factory. Meat factory scientists, he just slices through and he just automatically kills them. He just deletes them. But when it came to Hardigan, he actually went after Hardigan because he saw Hardigan as a worthy opponent whose skull was worth collecting. That ends with essentially a one-on-one ceremonial duel in the heart of the Predator ship where he beats him, and when he beats him, the other Predators decloak. And I love that line from Danny Glover where he's just like, really, he's beaten the shit. He's been thrown off a building. He's been run over by a car. He's had to like jump down an elevator shaft. He got frozen, jacked up. Like he's been running back and forth. He's out of shape. And he sees like these 9 Predators decloak. And he's just like, okay, who's next? Like that will always be one of my favorite scenes from when I was a kid. But the level of honor was essentially that the leader of that tribe, he steps forward and he collects the body of the defeated warrior, and he takes him back into the ship, and they go to leave, and as he goes to leave, he turns to Hardigan and he tosses him the gun, and it's a sign of respect, like, you are a worthy warrior in our eyes. I received that gun from another worthy warrior. I return it to you. Have a nice day. Get off my ship before I take off. Now, the following movies didn't do that at all. Those predators were just like rabid wolves. In The Predator, there wasn't any honor there. I have no idea what the fuck was going on in that movie. I've watched the movie like 3 times. Oh, woo, still don't understand what's happening in that movie. I've just like deleted, streamed it. I Grindelwald taking the memory of that one dude out of that last Harry Potter movie and just destroying it. I just sapped it out with a wand and threw it in the trash. Now, Alien versus Predator, there was a level of honor there. You saw Wolf, who was the Predator in the first AVP. No, he's the Predator in the second AVP movie that they essentially call in to kill the Predalien inside that town. Wolf had like a level of honor. His level of honor was essentially fighting the Predalien one-on-one on the top of the hospital building. Now, in the first Predator movie, that Predator as well, he was unblooded. He also had a level of honor in regards to Sinalathon's character, where they both survived, and because they survived, well, before they escaped, he marked her to show that she was blooded because she had killed an alien, a xenomorph. Now, they didn't really explore outside of that, besides when they come down in the ship and they collect his body after they kill the queen, and he sees the mark on her cheek, and he gives her a weapon, and he just pieces out and leaves. Sidebar, you ever realize how much like shit the predators leave behind? It's like they see a human worthy of honor and they leave a weapon with them, and then they just roll. There is no way that weapon and those medals in some way, shape, or form. No, I take that back. Because in Alien versus Predator, Weyland Yutani, or at least the Yutani side of the corporation, was collecting all of those artifacts from the past. This movie handles honor extremely well. Just like in the very first Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, we do not understand this monster. Like, well, we know what it is, but they don't. And its motivations are informed by its actions throughout the movie. When it's near the rattlesnake, and it allows the rattlesnake to basically attack and kill the mouse, but then when the rattlesnake attacks it, that's the moment when it strikes and it kills it. The entire time it was willing to just stand there and see whether or not the snake would attack it or keep it moving, The snake chooses to attack, it kills it, it skins it, and then it collects its head as a sign of honor and puts it on its belt. Exact same thing happens with the wolf, where the wolf is chasing the rabbit, it runs into him, it allows the wolf to get its senses to figure out exactly where it is. Then they decide to fight, it kills the wolf, and then it takes the wolf's head as a trophy because the wolf was an honorable combatant. Same thing with the bear, which I love the bear fight because the bear won. Like, there were 2 rounds to that fight, and in the first round the bear won because you see, like, the bear has the yachtja's blood on its claws, and the bear rolls, and then he gets out of the water, and then the bear's like walking away, and then he's just like turns around, the bear turns around, and he's like, so I ain't teach you this lesson already, old man. And he comes back for like round 2, and then that's when he just gets sauced and gets killed. But he collects the bear's skull as well because the bear was a worthy opponent. He was a worthy mark. Now, in regards to what is her name? Her name in this movie is Naru. In regards to Naru, I would say that it saw Naru as a worthy opponent. The problem is, every time it basically showed up, she was captured. So the very first time that she was captured and she was in chains, well, she wasn't in chains, they had her hands bound. The members of her tribe. It fought the members of her tribe honorably. Like, that one dude jumps over and he decides to fight him one-on-one, kills him. Then those other 2 dudes hop over and they decide to fight him 2-on-1. He's like, all right, come on. And they get some good licks in. I like that fact that as the fight progressed, we saw that they weren't, like, incapable. They weren't handicapped. Well, of course they were handicapped because they were human, but they weren't they were also lesser than him because he was bigger, stronger, and also faster. But they were capable warriors enough to give him a fight. And he defeats them all. I love the fact that he hunts her because she gets away. And that other guy, like, pulls her down. And they see him. And then he sees that other guy. Here's the thing. I really feel as though he was going to kill that other guy because that other dude ran away and hid. And he didn't fight and help his friends. So he saw him as being dishonorable. Because the entire time I was like, why did, like, the other guys, he could have just, he killed the first guy who stepped off with the firing arrows and the retracting arrows. And I really feel as though that had everything to do with how he was treating Naru. Because he was watching them essentially, like, beat her. Well, he was watching him essentially beat her. So he killed him. He saw him as dishonorable. But then he steps out and he challenges the other 3 warriors. And he fights them and he beats them. Naru gets away and she gets into the tall grass and that guy is there. He doesn't try to, like, sneak up and fight that guy. He just, like, locks on that dude and he's just like, you're the guy who ran away earlier. You're instantaneously dead. And you see that when they're running away because they're kind of, like, keeping the same pace. And he just and catches up to that dude and just instantly kills him. And it's like, well, he did not care about that guy at all. His target was Naru because she essentially saw him and got away from him earlier when he killed the bear. I like the transition of basically going back the field with the buffalo because that's the first time that we get a hint that there are other hunters in the area outside of just the tribe, Naru herself, and the Predator. And when Naru gets to the field, even I thought that was fucking wasteful. Like, they skinned and decapitated a bunch of the buffalo and then just left the bodies there to essentially rot. Like, meat that could feed the tribe, meat that could feed a town, they weren't there for that. They were there for the skins and the pelts. And that's something that actually happened in the past. And I like that when Naru walks up, she picks up the cigar and she's like, what the hell is this? She puts it down and then she honors the dishonorable kills of all of these animals. Not 5 minutes later, the Predator shows up. And the Predator kneels down the same way Naru did, and he picks up the cigar, and he makes a mental memo of it. He puts it back down, and then he sees the flower and realizes that, oh, she honored all these creatures because it was a dishonorable kill, what happened out in this field. And then he gets up, and he continues tracking her. Transitioning forward to the, what are they, French hunters? Transitioning forward to the French hunters, when the French hunters are doing their most like, oh boy, like, there's a part of me that's like, well, it's more or less because it's like the early 1700s, so they have no idea what they're going up against. They just think it's like some type of creature they've never seen before. But the second he decloaks, I'm gone. Like, not even that. That scene where they're all where the two guys are like looking through the binoculars, and like the four dudes behind them on the horses just instantaneously die, and they turn around. The second I turn around and those guys are dead is the second that like I just flop and roll down the hill. I'm like, you don't have to catch me, bruh. You got to run down this hill, homie. Like, you're not, not, you're not killing me like this. Not this easy, goddammit. But the sense of honor, the way in which Naru sees the French hunters, it's a flashback to essentially Predators, where it was looked at as dishonorable that the Bad Bloods didn't kill the Yatja when they had him tied up to the cross in Predators, where they were essentially treating him as a captive and a slave. They had stolen his honor, and that's what they were doing to her brother. Now, the fight between the Predator and between Naru, the Predator, and her brother, fantastic. Absolutely fucking love it. That is dope as hell, and I was sad. Like, I'm talking like 4 a.m, broken, because my man died. But he went out like a G. Like, he was giving that Predator work, and I absolutely love it, because he was talked up, or at least he talked himself up to be like this super badass warrior, and we see hints of that when he kills the cougar or the lion, and he brings the head back to the tribe, which that's something that I like to point to as well in regards to honor. The Native American tribe had almost the exact same honor system as the Predator did, where they would essentially take the head and then return home with the head, and the head would essentially be a trophy to adorn not only them but their home, to show the creatures, or the powerful creatures, that they hunted and defeated in the name of the tribe. It's basically what the Predator was doing as well. But the Predator and Naru both look at the French as being dishonorable, where he didn't hunt them, he slaughtered them. Like, there wasn't any, you guys come at me and give me everything that you got. No, he put them to work. He killed each and every one of them, didn't take trophies from any of them. When he caught up to the head leader, Naru basically left that dude to die, because of not only what he did to her brother, but also what he did to the buffalo in the field. And when the Predator rolls up, the Predator's just like, yep, shoot, dead. Like, instantaneously. Doesn't question it, doesn't think about it, doesn't like slash him a couple times, rip out his spine. No, just cuts him straight down the middle, instantaneously kills him. That guy's dead. And the person that he's now after is the one-on-one between both him and Naru, and it's a great fight. It's an absolutely great fight. And it's so interesting to see how the Predator's honor system relates to Native American tribes' sense of warrior, hunter, and honor, where Naru and the Predator almost have more similarities between both of them, where I really feel as though he might have been an unblooded that had essentially been dropped on Earth by his clan to hunt and collect trophies so that he could become blooded. And Naru was supposed to be because he's still wearing a biomask, so it's recording everything, I'm assuming, because that biomask is fucking awesome. It's like bone slash like futuristic tech. It looks great. Best Predator design I've ever seen. But she would have been his greatest challenge. I would even say that her brother would have also been his Tabe would have also been like his greatest challenge, to collect both of their skulls and like have both of their skulls on his ship. But she defeats him, and in defeating him, she does basically what the Predator would have done, which is she takes his head and returns to her tribe looking like a fucking badass. Absolutely amazing, where she's like covered in the Predator's blood, and she has like the Predator's mark. I really thought that was just like a poster, but it was not a poster. Like, she had like the Predator's blood like all over her face and like on her chest and on her arms. Like, she had adorned herself in the blood of her kill, the same way that her brother had, and then the exact same way that the Predator probably would have done if it had killed her. Well, we see that he has like that thing that the second he zaps you with it, like skin, bone, tissue, all that disappears. The only thing left is like the skull itself. So he wouldn't have done all that. But for the most part, the way in which they both The way in which they both celebrated the defeat of like their ultimate enemy would have been the same. The ultimate enemy essentially being each other. Honor is something that's dope as hell. Like I said before, the recent Predator movies didn't have it. Like the Predator really didn't have it in its main Predator antagonist. Predators definitely didn't have it. There was like a small smidgen of it for like 1 second, where Adrian Brody's character essentially releases the Predator towards the end of the movie, and he just gets sauced and instantaneously killed in like a, I don't even know what that fight was. Like the homeboy showed up and was just like, yeah, you're not even a challenge. Snip, snip, you're dead. Predator, like I said, Predator 2 with Danny Glover, definitely when it came to like that final fight in the way in which he was honored by the Yacha clan. And it was definitely also in the first Predator movie where he challenges Billy to one-on-one, and then later challenges Arnold Schwarzenegger's character to a one-on-one. But yeah, I think that they handled honor in this movie fantastically. I would love to see Naru's character return for a future Predator movie. Or, like I said, I would love to see them go to different time periods and show the Predators essentially learning different levels of honor and respect from different cultures around the world. Like, now that we've seen Native Americans, I would love for a Predator to show up in like feudal Japan. I would love for one to probably show up in feudal China. Like so many different directions that they can go in regards to the future of this franchise. And I'm really hoping that Hulu and what's his name, Dan Trachtenberg, come back to do more. But yeah, catch you in the next one. Comment down below what you think. Peace.